seated. You may be seated in the house this morning. Amen. Amen. As I begin this sermon, I want to make sure I take my time because I want our youth to catch this. I want our youth to understand there's a word in the house for them. Many times we know, Sister Mac, that we think the sermon on the word is just for the grown folk. But the good news is today, y'all, this word is for the young folk. Amen? Amen. Amen. Even if tap the nearest young person, say, this word for you, this word for you, this word for you. Amen. 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 Blessed through my bloodline. Blessed through my bloodline. Amen. Sister Tiana, one thing I could never understand when I was in school is when somebody asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I was a smart aleck, Sister Sierra, and I said, well, I want to be alive when I grow up. Another person said, I want to be happy when I grow up. But the answer folk were looking for dealt with your career choice. It dealt with what your goals were in life. It dealt with, Brother Brandon, your ambitions and your life's dreams. Listen, y'all, I don't care how old you are, you better keep on dreaming. Mm-hmm. Keep on having some ambition. Keep on moving towards something that's greater than where you are right now. If you are satisfied with where you are, please get out of my way. Because I'm not sticking around folk who's satisfied with right now, but you better press for what God got for you. Amen. Is there an amen in the house? Amen. So, I'll be honest with you. I didn't understand the question, what did you want to be when you grew up? See, we understand for ourselves as Janae, being a child or a teenager or a young adult is hard enough without folk trying to rush you into adulthood. Right. And some adults can confess this morning, adulthood ain't all that. That's right. Well, see, the hard part with answering this question, Asbury, of what I wanted to be when I grew up came as I didn't even know who I was at that moment. And so if I did not know who I was at that moment, I couldn't tell you what I wanted to be 10 or 20 years down the road. See, one reason why it's hard for our young people to figure out who they want to be is because they have too many negative voices seeding into them every day. But no matter the voices of negativity that are screaming out to our young people, we got to make sure, grown folk, that we are at least the one positive voice seeding into them. Yes. Y'all got to understand this today. I know this word is for the young people, but guess what, grown folk? You need to be convicted every now and then. And I told you a long time ago, the young people may not say nothing, but they see everything. And you got to make sure that you are a positive voice in their lives. Listen, did you ever have somebody in your life to speak greatness into you? I'm not talking about what you heard on the TV or the radio, but I'm talking about somebody you can call up on the phone. Somebody can send you a text message or a tweet and say, baby, you keep doing what God told you to do. Listen, you got enough folks sitting around the table trying to crack jokes and crack slick. I need somebody who can reach across the table, reach across the pew and pray for me when I don't know what's next in my life. Who is the individual young people who speak positive thoughts, constructive criticism? Who is in your corner on a regular basis? Yeah. Write that down, Sierra. Write that down. Who is in your corner on a regular basis? Y'all don't miss that. Don't miss that. Who keeps telling you to keep going, Janae, when you want to quit? Who tells you to be the bigger person today when all your friends are getting on your last black nerve? Who tells you to stop cussing, Darian, and use more intelligent words? Who is... Oh, I'm sorry. Grown folks stop cussing too. Y'all sanctified. Who is the one voice of reason that you listen to? Right, everybody write this down. Everybody write this down. Write this down. Who speaks greatness in my life on a regular basis? Write that down. Everybody in here, write that down. You're like a real sanctified and brand new today. Who speaks greatness into my life on a regular basis? Who speaks greatness into my life on a regular basis? Brother Brandon, I want to tell you this morning about a young man who had greatness spoken into him. When we turn to 2 Timothy chapter 1, verses 3 through 7, we have an encouraging letter from a mentor named Paul to the mentee named Timothy. pointing out to young Timothy that all of the good that's in him and the potential in his life. Watch this, y'all. Paul isn't telling Timothy what's wrong with Timothy. Right. But he's pointing out everything that's right with Timothy. See, it doesn't do you any type of good, Asbury, if every time I come around you, you tell me what's wrong with me. Right. Anybody can do that. Yeah, Pastor, you need a haircut. Pastor, I don't like them shoes. Pastor, you wore that suit last month. Pastor, I don't like that sermon. You ain't saying Jesus enough. Listen, you got enough people around you telling you what's wrong with you. Matter of fact, you beat yourself up in the morning before you come out of the house. You don't need somebody else telling you what's wrong. Matter of fact, tell me what's right. And if you don't like what's right with me, please leave me alone. I got enough going on with me. I got to battle me and your negative self too. Y'all hear? Y'all hear? And so I need you to watch what Paul did. He did not look at Timothy's age or inexperience, but he looked a little deeper to encourage Timothy's future by acknowledging his past. Follow me on this. In this letter, Asbury, Paul gave a shout out to the people and experiences of Timothy's life that helped shape Timothy and will influence Timothy for the future. You got to understand this morning, the people around you influence you for your future. I don't care how much you try to ignore it, how much you try to push them away. Them folk are the same folk you're going to remember when you're 20, 30, 40 years old. You're going to remember what Sister Gladys said to you. You're going to remember what Brother Fluker said to you. You're going to remember all the positive things and even some of the challenging things grown folks said to you when you were a child. It's going to come out when you get to be an adult. In other words, y'all, Timothy was blessed through his bloodline. See, Paul just wrote to remind him, young brother, your bloodline contains a pattern of being blessed. And if my bloodline contains a pattern of being blessed, then guess what? My life yet to come will follow the same pattern. Let me put it like this, Asbury. If folk before you experience God's grace, if folk before you experience God's love and mercy, then my prayer is that God does not skip the generation that I'm in. See, my prayer, Brother Gwen, is that God will show God's grace and kindness to my generation. Because we got too many selfish young adults in this generation. We got too many selfish young preachers who want folk to say amen, follow them on Twitter and be their fan, and ain't nobody trying to walk with God together. We got enough young preachers who are selfish and self-centered and want to be famous and ain't nobody trying to serve. See, that's why, Brother Brandon, we don't get any old type of preacher in Asbury. I dare not bring some selfish, flash in the pan preacher to preach to you, but you got to have somebody who want to say what thus saith the Lord. And let me help you out right here. I don't care if they Baptist, I don't care if they Methodist, I don't care if they're Episcopalian or Catholic. You're going to get a word off of this pulpit that's going to encourage our young people and let them know you are the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, a leader and not a follower of the ground. God, I want you to pour your spirit on this generation and let them know they are blessed in their blood.